the force behind a positive attitude. This is what you need to hear. Hi, welcome to Low Zone Channel. We talk about ways to stay motivated and inspired with our daily videos. Click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for more updates. Starting to feel happy begins with your own desire for such feelings. We enjoy sitting around and ruminating, and we take great pleasure in wallowing in our own misery. Take the time each and every day, whether it's 15 to 20 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours, to give your mind a break from the demands of the day. Make sure that you do this. If you expect to fail, you will fail. On the other side, if you anticipate to win, you will win. Of course, he's correct, because doctors and psychologists both alike, they believe that worrying actually does shorten your life, and it does damage your body. We need to empty our brain before we go to sleep. Positive thinking is the subject of a book written by Norman Vincent Peale. Let's get this party started with golden nugget number 1, which is to create your own personal happiness on the inside. That you are accountable for your own pleasure, because a person's lack of happiness is often the result of a negative attitude on life, a tendency to dwell on the negative, and a tendency to harbor animosity toward others around them. So if you think those things, what do you think is going to happen? You have to discipline yourself to not think such negative ideas. Peale thinks we have to get into the happiness habit by having cheerful, cheery ideas throughout the day. We like to sit and dwell. We like to sit in our own grief. I don't like to do it, but I just know that sometimes my brain drives me to do that. I'm baffled as to why. So I have to discipline myself to not do it. Putting on some lively music is a must. I have to go do something productive. I need to go to the gym and spend time with people who will make me laugh. At first, it's challenging. It doesn't feel right, because you are. It appears as if you are trying too hard. But finally, it starts to help you feel better. There are miracles happening all around you. There is beauty all around you. Open your eyes and gaze. Isn't that the light of the sun? Great. Can you hear the birds chirping? Great. Can you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin? Awesome. Simple beauty may be found all around us. If you want to start feeling joyful, you have to desire to feel happy yourself. In other words, anytime you're tempted to start gossiping, feeling guilty, getting angry, or feeling any other negative emotion, force yourself to think positively and do something positive instead. And while it doesn't seem right at first, keep going. You're on the correct path. 2. The cure for anxiety is that people waste a lot of their time and a lot of their energy ranting and fretting about things that they cannot control. Go back to Covey's premise. Circle of concern, circle of influence. Focus only on those things in your circle of influence. Everything else in the circle of worry you can't control. You can't impact it. So move on. Don't allow your thoughts to linger in that place for long periods of time. You're squandering mental resources by engaging in this pointless discussion. Peale suggests that we slow down as an antidote to anxiety in order to calm our minds and find inner peace. And he suggests meditation. He proposes that we invest at least 15 minutes daily in calming and relaxing ourselves by contemplating peaceful thoughts. Find yourself plunging into the water. So the remedy to anxiousness is all about emptying our mind. However, you choose to do that. Make sure you're spending time every single day. Whether it's 15 to 20 minutes, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, if you're working out at the gym, whether you're doing yoga, going to cycling class, whatever. Allow yourself some time to decompress from the day's events. Golden nugget number 3, you should anticipate the best. If you expect to fail, you will fail. On the other hand, if you expect to win, you will win. So what mental seeds are you sowing? Are you planting seeds of positivity? Or are these seeds of negativity? You can bet your life will give you more of that doubt, and I'm not going to make this work. Are the seeds that you're sowing? Is anything awful going to happen? Guess what? If you keep sowing those seeds, more of the same is exactly what you're going to receive. Start concentrating on the good aspects of the situation and think about how things might turn out. And when things go wrong, you should always remind yourself, there's a lesson in it for me. Because rather than life happening to me, I find that everything happens for me. Therefore, everything that is going on is intended to instruct me in some way. This is not a setback in the process of setting up this thing that is quite problematic. There was a purpose behind everything that took place, and I intend to grow as a result of the experiences I've had. Do not be concerned. This is number 4. And he is correct in saying this because medical professionals and psychologists alike agree that worrying shortens your life and harms your body. Before going to bed, we need to make sure that our minds are clear and all of our concerns should be visualized, leaving our bodies like water pouring out of a glass while we do this. Therefore, you should not believe that the path I am on is the correct way. No. This is the right course for me to take. I switched my focus from anxiety to hope by creating a list of goals. I came up with 3 goals for myself. 1 for my finances, 1 for my health, and 1 for my career, which was what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I came up with 3 goals for myself. When I was going through similar stress in the past, I used to worry a lot. I had trouble sleeping. I would frequently get chest pain and my heart would beat irregularly at the time. And despite my best efforts, I was never able to achieve a high degree of happiness or pleasure in my life. And if you were talking on a scale from 1 to 8, right again, 9s and 10s are designated for extremely exceptional events in our lives that rarely happen to us. You're right about that. I was continuously sitting at a desk where I would wake up and all of a sudden experience the stresses of the day. I would regularly pass between 3 and 4 at that time. I would remain there for hours. As a result, I decided to build myself a plan that would have goals that would give me hope. I had goals that would give me hope, something that would get me excited, something that I wanted to work towards, something that I wanted to achieve, because I knew that if I did that, it would get me out of this mess. And my life would be better as a result of that. So what I did to replace that worry, that anxiety, that fear was to build myself a plan that would give me hope. I needed answers to my problems, and I wanted things once upon a time, I had ambitions and objectives for which I required a solution. And the first thing I did was remove myself from the hustle and bustle of the day. Let my mind sort of loosen up and look for inspiration in all of the things that were going on around me. And I have faith that whatever answer I seek will present itself to me in some form or another. And this is the point in the book Golden Nugget where Peel discusses problem-solving strategies in order to get us there. I think there are 10 methods for solving problems, the majority of which I think, beginning with the first one, which is to believe that there is a solution to every problem. Do you feel then that a solution to your situation may be found? Indeed, it is not easy. Yes, it's not an easy task. You do not currently own a solution, but there is a way out of this predicament. There is frequently more than one way to keep your composure while addressing a challenge, which is something to keep in mind. Therefore, you should not feel anxious. Try not to get frustrated and utter things like, "I don't get it," or "I don't comprehend." This will only make you look foolish. You should not get all worked up over this. It would be wise for you to have optimism that this issue will eventually be resolved. The third piece of advice is to not try to force an answer or avoid saying something along the lines of, "Oh my God, I require a response by Saturday at noon. It will be too late for me if I don't have it by Saturday at noon at the latest." Sometimes you just can't put any pressure in it. You might find that life just happens to you. Therefore, all you need is some time for that to become clear to number 4 so that you may compile all the pertinent facts. Pretty straightforward. Do as much research as you possibly can. Number 5, write down all of the facts about the situation once more. Get an understanding of the problem. What is going on? You need to get clarity on the problem so that you can get clarity on what solutions you need to solve it. You need to get clarity on what solutions you need to solve it. Sixth on the list, take some time to pray about the challenge that you are facing. Listen, I have no problem with the fact that you are praying about it. If you aren't praying about it, then you might be thinking about it instead. Always be sure to set aside time for reflection on it. When you're out on a stroll in the great outdoors, yes, you should make time to reflect in natural settings and give your thoughts permission to flow. But when you take some time away from the worries, concerns, and hectic pace of the day, you'll find that it's much easier to think of ways to solve problems. 7th, have faith in the promise found in Psalm 73. Thou will guide me by thy counsel, and seek God's direction in your life based on that promise. If I may say it once more, if you believe in the religious side of that, then it will talk to you in a way that it does not necessarily talk to me. So it looks like I won't be using the particular option. The 8th piece of advice is to rely on the intuitive and perceptive abilities that are inside you. There are some tasks that we feel obligated to carry out, and then there are the things that we are well aware that we ought not to be doing. We hope you enjoyed our video and learned something new. Don't forget to click the subscribe button below and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.